Welcome to the Hitting the Jets Pod, a Common Man Sports podcast. I'm your host, Nick Antonianis, along with my co-host, Mike Marole and Owen Doran. And since the Jets were up against the Patriots on Thursday Night Football, we brought our Patriots friend, Mr. Brandon Murdock, to talk about the Thursday Night Football game as the Jets destroyed the New England Patriots. It was just a one-sided game the whole entire time. Allen Lazard with a touchdown, Garrett Wilson with a touchdown, and Breece Hall with a touchdown. And we actually had an opportunity to watch Drake May play a little bit, but I'm going to just ask the Patriots fan about this game. So, Mr. Murdock, how do you feel about this loss?
I don't even know this. It's just gradually getting worse from week one. I got really hyped from week one. We looked really good, and then the offense just isn't there. It's the same thing with Mac Jones. Just nothing too crazy, nothing too complicated. Just screen passes, short passes, nothing too explosive. Ramondre's been fumbling. I'm just happy Drake May played. That's the only positive. And Christian Gonzalez is the best corner in the league. But those are only my two positives from the game.
You can't say that on this podcast.
Yeah, you literally can't say that after this week as well. What happened last week?
Christian Gonzalez didn't do anything wrong.
Were my eyes deceiving me when I saw Garrett Wilson catching 6 in the end zone? I'm pretty sure that happened. Man-to-man coverage, corner of the end zone, touchdown. Can't say the same for Sauce Gardner. Doesn't get touchdowns scored on him like that.
Who did Sauce Gardner cover? Jalen Polk?
I'm talking about career. How many games has Christian Gonzalez even played? 6 games? He's already given up a touchdown in man coverage? That's pathetic. He's pathetic.
It was to one of the best quarterbacks, to our number 12.
Who?
It was against a quarterback. It's the best quarterback toward number 12 in NFL.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, the throw was great. I mean, Christian Gonzalez did well on the coverage as well. He was right there the entire time, but, better offense at the end of the day. Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, we saw the connection for the first time. And, yeah, it was beautiful to see.
Oh, they do.
How many touchdowns did Sauce let up?
0.
Goose egg. And I thought it was pretty interesting, too, because I believe the last time that the Jets beat the New England Patriots was the end of 2015. That was when they had that run, and then they upsettingly lost against a terrible Buffalo Bills team. And then ever since then, well, actually, no, they won last week of the series. Last week of last.
Yeah, last year.
No, yeah, that's my fault right there. But
it's
always been
twice.
It's been a one-sided the whole entire time of the Patriots just defeating the Jets. So getting this win, especially at MetLife, and it was the first game of Aaron Rodgers, first time since Aaron Rodgers injured. It felt really good, and also Aaron Rodgers had a great game. I'm looking at the stats right now for Aaron Rodgers. He had 2 touchdowns, 281 yards. He went 27 for 35. He just looked very, very good, and he gave so much opportunities for a bunch of the players. Tyler Conklin, 5 receptions with 93 yards. Who would have thought Tyler Conklin, a tight end who doesn't really get that much receptions, gets 93 yards? I mean, that was really fun to watch right there. And I was just very fortunate to have the opportunity to watch that game and also just see the Jets just a very one-sided. And, I know I'm just saying this and hearing seeing Murdock's face. I mean, it feels good. I'm sorry, but after many years, this feels good.
It feels great. It feels great. I'm on top of the world right now. I mean, it was a complete beatdown, domination of the fucking Patriots, which is just so fantastic. It's a new era of the NFL. There's no more Tom Brady, no more Bill Belichick. You got the Mac Jones playing for the Patriots. Drake May, we haven't really seen him yet, but who knows what he's going to be like. The Patriots stink now, and it's amazing. It's so great to see. And the Jets looked fantastic. Even though, the Patriots aren't the best opponent, it's not the greatest sample size to, put the Jets up for, playoff contenders. But the Jets looked amazing on both sides of the ball. The defense was amazing. We talked about in the previous weeks that they were a little shaky, especially with the run game. We saw Jordan Mason run all over them. But this week it was completely different. Ramondre Stevenson couldn't do anything. And the craziest thing is he's one of the best running backs for yards after contact. So the fact that the Jets, one of the weaker rushing defenses in the NFL last season and so far this season. They completely shut down the run game for the Patriots, the only avenue they have to score. And it was just a wash from there. They couldn't do anything. Jacoby Brissett, 98 yards. He's a decent backup, but, you can't put him in as a starter and actually expect him to move the ball up the field and do anything. And then on offense, Aaron Rodgers, Nick already said it, 281 yards. He seemed like vintage Rodgers out there. It was one of the best things to watch. He only had 5 incompletions, whatever, something like that. Yeah, he was on fire last night or on Thursday night, and it's great because they're going to build up that momentum. They're going to continue into Week 4 against the Broncos, another kind of iffy opponent, not the best opponent, but still, as long as you're getting wins, you're building up momentum, and then when you start facing some tougher teams like the Vikings and the Bills in Week 5 and 6, you're going to be more prepared for those.
Definitely.
Murdock, did you expect anything different in that game?
I expected it to be closer, to be honest. I expected this to put a bit more of a fight.
Okay, well, to be fair, last year when Zach Wilson was our quarterback, I understand that you would think that it would be a little bit closer, but you're against Aaron Rodgers now. So and I understand that the Patriots have the upper hand at most times against the Jets. Jets are going to be Jets still.
New chapter.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's a new chapter. But I want to ask Murdock this question. I know that next week the Patriots are going to be going up against the 49ers. In your opinion, I mean, the Niners have been, they got a terrible loss against the Rams. So I don't know. In your opinion, would you have Drake May as your starter or Jacoby Brissett?
No, wait till Week 5 against Miami.
Okay.
San Francisco's defense is very, very good. I don't want him dealing with Nick Bosa all day in his first career start. I'd rather him go against Week 5. Probably gonna be 1-3, a little less pressure, and then they're going against Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle, whoever Miami rolls out there. I think it will be an even offensive matchup for him to go into.
He shouldn't play all year. He should sit the entire season, don't you think?
I did think that originally, but the O-line is significantly better than I thought it was going to be. And don't get me wrong, it's been pretty bad. That's just how low
Jacoby Brissett got sacked 5 times. Even Drake May came in for garbage time, got sacked twice. You just be putting him out there to get killed. I feel like there was no point in really playing him this year. The receivers that they have aren't going to be receivers they're going to have in 3 years' time. So it's not like he really needs to build a connection with those guys. I think it's just best for him to sit, develop, and wait until the O-line gets a bit stronger. They get some better weapons. Because, the Patriots, you shouldn't have high expectations for this season. But if you want Drake May to succeed, you gotta protect him.
That's fair. And going into the year, I was a little 50-50 on that. And after watching the O-line in the preseason, I was definitely out on him. And to be fair, the O-line against the Jets was by far the worst they've been all season. But just coming into this, it's been better than originally expected. So even if it's not the prettiest, even though we probably will get beat up, like you said, I just want him out there. I want him to just play, just experience it. Obviously Mahomes and a lot of other great quarterbacks, Lamar didn't necessarily start from day one, but then other quarterbacks have, and it's worked out.
Some quarterbacks, they thrive of just starting immediately, and some of them, they thrive of just waiting a whole year. Rodgers did it. Mahomes did it. Jordan Love did it. All these great quarterbacks, they sat on the sidelines watching a quarterback and just developing from there. And that's kind of the main reason why I was I know this is going to be off topic, but I was kind of happy that Bryce Young actually got benched. I know that he was he was the problem with Carolina, but now you're actually going to have him sit in the sidelines and you're actually going to make him watch Andy Dalton or whatever, just watch and develop and then just go from there. I kind of like the idea of just having May come in for garbage time, maybe at the end of the season, have him start just so you can see a feel of him.
Yeah.
But just have him sit on the sideline unless, Brissett gets this injury or whatever. But, that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I have a question for Murdock as well, actually, because it's Week 3 of this new era of the Patriots. No more Bill Belichick. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on the vibe shift that they've seen. I don't know if you've seen the videos, but like Gerard Mayo is over on the sidelines, kind of like pulling pranks before the games. He's kind of like singing. He's just a completely different personality from Bill Belichick. So kind of like, what do you think about that moving forward for the Patriots franchise? Kind of a new look for them.
I think it's better. I mean, I think more players will generally want to come to New England because obviously I don't think a lot of people love the military style that Belichick coached with. I think obviously Mayo's significantly better player coach. I think Belichick definitely has the advantage X's and O's, but Mayo definitely is going to bring people in and build players up and get guys more confidence than I think Bill Belichick ever would. Because I think Bill Belichick killed Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones, don't get me wrong, isn't a great quarterback to begin with, but Bill Belichick did nothing to help an average quarterback go above being average.
I mean, he was a Pro Bowler in his first year. So,
Pro Bowl's a joke.
But no, I definitely think. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I definitely think Mayo is really good just to have around. Like, I think he's the perfect guy for the new resume to have in charge.
So I want to now just kind of like mainly focus on the Jets now. So yes, Owen said that he's like on top of the world, and like this was like one of the best games that he watched. But I kind of want to ask this one question to Mike. What are some cons that you saw of this game and you would want to see better of for next week?
There wasn't really any cons I saw. I mean,
like,
Nick, you know how we watched the game. Like, we didn't see that much, but like there wasn't that many cons. One I could think of was like that one kick. That was it.
Oh yeah, Greg Zuerlein.
Everything that happened was like, I want to say expected because it's the Patriots, but I also would have said it was expected the week before against Tennessee. Keep playing this way. Like, I saw nothing bad. He said himself, Stevenson got stopped. No one was in the air. It was a perfect game. And like, this is like another thing. Like, Reddick can keep waiting out if he wants to. We don't need you right now.
For me, I actually I know they're trying to like ease him back into it, but I just need to see more reps of Mike Williams.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, he did have that one incredible catch later on in the game, and then he was this close to making another incredible catch at the end zone later on in the game. But I actually heard from Saleh, and he said that he's going to get much more reps for Sunday's game, which I'm very happy about because Mike Williams is a very good player. I know that they're easing him into it because it's tough to come back after a torn ACL and his history of injuries. Just give him more opportunities. And, now you have Lazard, who now has 3 touchdowns, I believe. Garrett Wilson had another touchdown on Thursday Night Football. Now you're just adding in Mike Williams. That looks good. And then you have all 3 of them just playing together. You have Braylon Allen, who had 11 carries and 54 yards against the Patriots. And then Brees. It's looking pretty good. And I'm happy about that. So giving everyone an opportunity to get moments. It's fun to watch.
I think there was definitely one like kind of con. It had nothing to do with how the Jets played or anything that they did on the field. It was just Morgan Moses taking that knock.
Yeah.
But even then, that kind of got spun into kind of a positive thing. We got to see our rookie Ole Fashanu get out there, get some reps, and we've seen exactly why that pick was valuable. We already lost an O lineman week 3. We have someone to plug in who can do the job. And fortunately enough, Morgan Moses isn't going to miss that much time. So it's a minor injury. Ole gets to play a few games to start his NFL career. And then Morgan Moses gets to rehab and come back. There was one con, though, off the field that happened. And it's, who could have seen this coming? Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee says something stupid. I seen on Twitter that he said something about, he commented on the report about the locker room being in disarray week 1 and said something about how that report must have came from Hassan Reddick's agent. So I think that's just kind of stupid of him to say. We're kind of warming up to this guy. We're trying to negotiate with this guy, we're asking him to take less money to come play with us. And, that's just not the best thing to hear from your quarterback, talking about his agent like that, especially when you're making, $50 million you're taken care of. So of course you can make comments like that. It's easy for you to say. But fortunately, I don't think we're going to need Reddick. I think the earliest we could see him would be week 6, because like Mike said, we don't really need him after this week. We saw what we did against the Patriots. we're going up against the Broncos this week. It should be much of the same. Shouldn't be a tough game whatsoever for the offense or the defense. And then we go to London to play the Vikings. And I think in that scenario, even if the Jets offered Hassan Reddick $30 million a year, 4 years, he'd turn it down because why would he want to fly to London for his first game with the Jets? I think he would just not be interested in that being his debut. So earliest we see him would be week 6, possibly if they get the deal done. But it seems like right now that the defense is solid, and that gives the Jets a little bit of leverage in negotiations.
I actually didn't see that clip at all. I mean, I don't really watch the Pat McAfee show, and I know that Rodgers is on every Tuesday, I believe. I didn't even see that. So that was like my first reaction of.
No, so in that clip, he kind of hinted that was his former agent, which kind of people did Reddick fire his agent, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing.
The best thing for the Jets would be if he fires that agent, but I just don't think making comments about his agent's really too wise right now. That's the guy the Jets. Yeah. The agent is who you're going to have to speak with. Mm-hmm. That's who facilitates the negotiations. So if you're out here making comments about him, he's going to have he's not going to want to negotiate down whatsoever.
Yeah, I didn't. But at the end of that, I didn't even. That was my first reaction of hearing about that, honestly.
But it's not a surprise. Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee. It's just a recipe for stupid things to be said.
Yeah.
The only positive from this Reddick situation is that Bryce Huff is playing like a loser. I haven't seen one thing. I don't think he has one sack.
Oh my god, he's been terrible. I think he's ranked something around 140 something in tackles. He's been awful.
He's a system.
We dodged a bullet there by not paying him. Thank God.
Yeah, I was happy about that. I also want to ask. I can ask the three of you this question. Everyone's seen that clip of Rodgers physically pushing Robert Saleh because he didn't expect a hug, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Saleh doesn't like hugs or whatever." How did you guys feel about that clip being surfaced and people making this whole big deal about, oh, Rodgers hates Saleh and he's most likely going to get the boot next? Like, how do you feel about that?
It's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. I kind of do I think Rodgers, who knows what he's talking about post game, but I kind of see where he's coming from. Saleh has a defensive background. Those guys are usually known to be, more like hard-nosed, tough guys, not, the sensitive huggers. So I could definitely see him being more of a, punching your pads kind of coach. But who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Maybe Rodgers wanted to say something and didn't want to hug him at that time. Who cares? It's such a minor incident. It shouldn't be getting attention. But, because it's Rodgers and he has a history of being sort of difficult, especially with coaches that he doesn't get along with, this is expected from the media.
You could tell right away he was joking. If you read his lips, you could see he says 2-score lead. Like Robert Saleh emphasizes don't celebrate, and he does that. After you watch Hard Knocks, you can also see that's just how he jokes. I don't know if you guys remember that clip with the Carolina coach that he was calling fat, his old friend. That's just the guy Rodgers is. He's a funny guy, but
it's dry,
more of a dark way. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, if this feels like one of those witch hunt kind of things on Rodgers, trying to pick anything you can to bring him down. But yeah, I don't think it really means anything.
He's the new Brady.
I mean, when I saw it, I was just kind of okay, whatever. I didn't even read lips. People were saying that he was just don't touch me or some stupid thing. And then I was like, okay, I'm expecting to hear something after the game of someone's going to ask this question to either Saleh or Rodgers. And Rodgers was like, we're fine. I just said 2-score lead. I didn't expect a hug. We're fine. Like you said, Owen, it's just the New York media that is just trying to find ways to make Rodgers be an asshole.
Yeah, especially it's just NFL media in general. They love to paint Rodgers as a villain. This just kind of douchey person. It's just whatever nonsense.
Hey, if he can
tabloid media.
If he can play well and win games, I don't give a shit if he's a douchebag. I mean,
could care less.
Could care less. But now we're gonna go into next week. We're gonna be seeing the Denver Broncos. The Broncos shockingly defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Bo Nix actually had a pretty solid game after having 2 abysmal games to start the season. He had a pretty solid game against the Bucks, who defeated the Lions in week 2. So I want to ask my Jets co-members, what are we going to be expecting for this game against Denver, and what are some things that we should look out for?
Well, I'm going to see a lot of run-heavy offense. I want to see Breece Hall running a lot because that's for the past 2 years, Denver has been brutal against the run. So Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. And I want to see how Garrett Wilson does. You know, Rodgers talked last week how like he wants to get Wilson going. Like that was just the tip of the iceberg, like him getting that 1 touchdown. But he has Patrick Surtain on him this week. So I want to see how that goes. Defensively, there's no reason they should struggle with Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton and Javonte Williams. It should be another, even a bigger blowout than your Patriots.
Yeah, I'm expecting another kind of a blowout type of game, but in a different way. Like you already said, Garrett Wilson's going to be guarded by a legitimate top-level corner this week, not like the ones he's played in previous weeks. So Patrick Surtain's a real challenge. I don't expect them to get many yards in the air. They're going to be leaning on Breece Hall and Braylon Allen a lot. The one thing I worry about is if security is going to be high enough, because there's going to be a terrorist in the building. We all know Zach Wilson's coming back to MetLife. We need to keep our eyes on that guy. He completely terrorized me for the last 2-3 years. And, you know, he might just bring his dark magic back to MetLife and pull some magic little tricks. So we got to keep our eye on that guy. You never know. You can't trust him. You can't trust that guy. That's the only thing I'm worried about is if Zach Wilson ever, you know, gets too close to the Jets locker room and he kind of, his suckiness just seeps back in. So let's just keep him as far away from the Jets locker room and the Jets sideline.
Throws a little pixie dust on the team and stuff, but
yeah, so I don't think he should be allowed in the building. Honestly, I don't think he should be allowed in the building.
So you're basically saying that you want this game to be close, so they don't make it a blowout, so Zach Wilson doesn't come on the field.
Well, Zach Wilson's the emergency QB, so there's no chance really he gets in. He's so bad that they only want to use him in case of emergency. He's just that pathetic of a quarterback. It's just the fact that I'm going to have to like see him on my screen. He's going to be talked about. It's just going to piss me off. I'm not going to enjoy seeing his face. Seeing him in a Jets jersey again, potentially, that's just not going to be enjoyable. But overall, this Broncos team's not good. Bo Nix has yet to throw a touchdown, kind of embarrassing for himself. Their running backs are average, so don't really see them doing much there. It should be another blowout.
Hey, that win against the Bucks was pretty solid, though.
Yeah, the Bucks are a fraud team, really. Like they scored some points week 1 and 2, but they're not a legitimate team.
Chris Godwin.
Don't give the Broncos credit for that. Like they're not good.
They smoked them though.
Yeah, but the Bucks aren't good.
Yeah,
I mean,
they went into Tampa and they smoked them.
Oh, Tampa. Known for their just stellar fan base, aren't they? They give you goosebumps when you walk out of that tunnel. I mean, they're just 2 average teams. The Broncos are terrible. Bo Nix, he makes stupid decisions week in and week out. I expect the Jets to get some interceptions, maybe a fumble off him. Yeah, it should be a fun game.
Yeah, he's going to try to run a lot. And if
that's the only thing he's good at.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only way they can score.
Some of his runs against Tampa was ridiculous, though. He looked like prime Lamar, like getting out of the pocket, avoiding defenders.
Oh boy!
No, there was a couple.
I know what you're talking about.
you lost some defenders.
Bo Nix looked like prime Lamar.
It was impressive for a white quarterback. I'll say that.
So you're saying Bo Nix's ceiling's like MVP Lamar?
No, I just say occasionally he can.
I'm just messing.
He can play really good.
Oh
man. Okay.
Yeah,
Now to give some light to the Patriots, because we do have Murdock here. What are you gonna expect to happen next week against the 49ers?
Honestly, I don't think it's gonna be as bad as against you guys last week, for the simple fact that the last 2 weeks the 49ers have been awful, and Debo and CMC are not gonna play. So I'm not saying we're gonna win, but
I don't think George Kittle is gonna play either.
I think he's questionable right now.
He's questionable, but I don't know.
They're missing a lot of pieces.
So could we go in there and steal a win? Maybe. but odds are it will probably be like a 10-point loss.
10
10?
point. That's being generous right there.
Bit
And
generous.
just
I know, I mean,
20
he's not wrong though. The 49ers are banged up. They're depleted. I saw a post yesterday that they're missing like $100 million worth of players right now.
Yeah.
So that's like insane amount of money that they're missing. Like, it's not impossible. Like
I
the
mean,
Rams aren't a terrible team, but they're better than the Patriots, obviously.
You're gonna need
Ram-
Ramondre
The Rams
Stevenson
didn't even have
going.
Puka or
Yeah,
Cup, and they beat them.
That's fair,
And-
actually. Yeah, they didn't have Kuka or Cup, and they beat him.
you need to make sure that Christian Gonzalez actually stops Jawan Jennings and not get 3
I hope
flipping
he does.
touchdowns.
Oh man,
Ron Jennings, he has like a
He's probably
200.
gonna
He's
be
like
on
third.
I still beat Mike, even though Jawan Jennings got 50 points.
Oh no, you started against him.
let's not talk about
Had
fantasy.
Anthony
Let's not talk about fantasy.
That's crazy.
Not going to talk about fantasy.
Let's
All
just
right,
like let's move on to the next topic. Let's not talk
Oh,
about
sure.
fantasy.
all right, we can. That's whatever. But yeah, just I would honestly think that the Patriots are most likely going to lose against the Niners. Just have to make sure that Stevenson can actually like play a good game, because
He's the only bright
You know.
spot in the offense.
he is the only. I
Yeah.
mean, Hunter Henry, he's looking okay, but
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Stevenson is the guy, and they have to make sure that he actually like steps up. But
He's been having fumble issues lately.
he had that pretty
The
solid
Ni-
game against
the-
Seattle.
So is Tom
The
Brady.
Niners, the Niners'
He did have
time
a
on
good
top might be over. Like the Niners being this top like team might be over. Like I
Like
don't.
the
Well,
entire
because-
NFL
that's
or
because
NFC?
it's so weird too, because Brock Purdy can only play well when all of his players are together.
I mean,
Once,
three touchdowns last game to Jawan Jennings.
but I mean,
Like we're
God.
gonna start saying we got to
He's still
see
lo-
Brock
he's
Purdy
still
do it without
lost.
Jawan Jennings and Jordan Mason.
yeah, but if he
He
lost,
might be a good quarterback. I don't know yet. I still don't know.
I mean, he didn't look that great without CMC and George Kittle. I mean, but it was Jawan
Three
Jennings.
touchdowns. I
The
thought
Rams aren't that great.
Jawan Jennings is not some like top level receiver. Like I understood what people meant like, when they were saying like,
that's probably the
oh,
only
like,
receiver that he has. I mean,
yeah, but
Ayuk
the
is not
point
that
like
great.
people were saying like, oh, Brock Purdy, we got to see him without Debo Samuel and Ayuk and Kittle and all these weapons. We saw him without them. He threw 3 touchdowns to Jawan Jennings. That's a
Yeah,
really
the
good
reason
game
they
from
lost
him.
is because their defense collapsed and like gave away the lead.
Yeah,
right in the
Brock
last
Purdy,
minute.
Brock Purdy was surprisingly really good that game. Not surprisingly, he might just be like a good quarterback.
also
He
got
might just
hurt.
deserve that respect.
He did get
Jawan
hurt.
Jennings just turned into Randy Moss that game, so that helped.
But it's gonna get weird for the
135
Niners
yards.
because Brock Purdy's contract's coming up, and with all these
Yeah.
guys injured and getting older, like, are you willing to pay him all that money? Like, you don't know if you're even going to be knocking on the door of a Super Bowl for any time soon.
Are you getting Purdy $50 million a year?
No,
I don't think he's not.
I mean,
He's not.
that's the
50 million
market for
guy.
a quarterback. It's what you got to pay guys now.
Daniel Jones just got 40 and he hasn't even touched
Yeah.
the champion.
Like Daniel Jones is awful. He made the playoffs once and he got 40. Like
Tua got the paycheck and now he's most likely going to retire.
who knows? He says he's not.
Yeah, but I mean that's whatever.
Said
Honestly,
he's going to be
honestly,
speaking
he
with
should
specialists.
he should just retire. He had a good football career. I'm talking about football. I'm talking about college and an okay NFL season. He got his paycheck. Just
Yeah.
honestly, just call it.
What I don't understand is why wasn't he wearing the Guardian cap?
I mean, the
Like,
Guardian
it
cap.
makes no sense.
But here's the thing: the Guardian cap only covers the head. We're talking about the brain here. The brain is a completely different thing. He's still going to get
Is your
that.
brain in your
he's-
head?
yeah, but I mean, it's
That is true.
I feel like I'm pretty
It
sure
is-
like all
no,
the
I know
studies
he
point to
means,
that
but-
it reduces concussions. Like every single study, like obviously we haven't seen it on such a large scale in game. We've only seen it in practice, and then some players are wearing it in game. But like
only like
it's proven to
3
work. It's proven to reduce concussions. So it's just the fact that a guy like
mean, is it-
Tua
is-
who gets
I mean, is it
concussions
go-
all the time.
I mean, is it going to help if he's still going to go head first into players?
I mean, it would help if that's what he does.
But I mean, I don't think it's going
I
to help
mean, I
that
feel like
much.
it's just is a no-brainer for him of all people. Like you of all people in the NFL should probably be wearing this since day one.
Probably were too.
He should be like the leader of
Mix
this
it
whole
in
movement of
around.
wearing it. It should be implemented like league wide, really.
Why does he
If
most
it-
of his? Sorry.
What'd you say?
No, I was just gonna say it should be implemented league wide. If it works, it protects players. It should just be like standard.
Why does he only get concussions on prime time, and then also gets the worst concussion you've ever seen?
Because he wants attention.
Oh
Dude.
yeah,
It's an attention-seeking.
just faking it. The game,
Well,
he's just faking it. Like the game was out of reach. So, like, imagine the headlines if they lost that game and he didn't get the concussion. Makes you think, was he really hurt?
He has an excuse for that pick six.
I mean,
now.
and also it was against DeMar Hamlin. I mean,
He's just trying to stir up controversy. It seems.
dude,
He
that's
does that
script
one
is-
week. Next week gets his first interception.
That
When does he do
script
back?
is written- He's doing like week 8 or week 9.
What?
Yeah, something like that.
It's a crazy concussion. Damn.
I mean, 4 concussions, and they all got pretty bad as it goes on. I mean, the guy physically couldn't stand up
Yeah, true.
in all of his
I mean, yeah.
concussions. That script is written in golden ink. Let me tell you. Just written in golden ink. 50 mil, just get a concussion against DeMar Hamlin. Incredible.
Script writer
Yeah,
said
I would take
him.
the money and I would take the money and run. Like,
Yeah,
it
I agree with that.
you're not going to see past. However, you're not going to see a very long life if he continues to play and just continues to get concussions. It's just terrible for him.
Okay, so I think that's a good time that we're going to end because we kind of just branched down to other things, but I think that's a good time that we can end today's episode. So thank you all for watching. Thank you to Murdock for coming in and just dealing with all the punches that we had to give you on Thursday Night Football. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, Owen said if you guys won, you weren't allowed on.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see what
I
happens
feel
later
like, he can take them on the chin. Like his basketball team just won a championship,
Here we go.
Oh boy, okay. He had to
Got
add
to see the
it
guys
in.
back.
Always had to add it
So, like,
in.
He has
That was
6
a
Super
silver lining.
Bowls. Like, how he
Underwear
can't
right
be
now.
mad about the Jets getting 1 win over them. Like,
Okay.
he's taken care of. He has his Super Bowls. He has his NBA championships. He's good. He doesn't need 1 win.
And
We
then
need
he
the
had,
win.
And then he had a World Series in 2018, so I think he's whatever.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
fine.
I've
Okay.
been blessed a little bit.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And next week, let's just hope that Zach Wilson doesn't step on MetLife Stadium and we will absolutely obliterate the Broncos. See you guys next week.